ignoring the facts turns our children into idiots. They claim it's for our safety. I'll tell you what it really is. Removing information that empowers all the citizens. The truth doesn't damage points of view that are legitimate. They're trying to change amen to amen. And
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Dion's Daily Dose. Mailers, Lies, and Desperation. That's the name of tonight's show. So I don't know. First of all, I go out to the mailbox. Now, I heard from a couple of people, hey, there's this mailer out about you. And, it's, wow. I was like, okay, all right, cool. Can you send it to me? I didn't need anybody to send it to me because luckily enough, I got one. There is one thing in particular. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here that I want to address, but the number one thing is really important because it's how they say context is important, and that's generally what we're told when we criticize the president and what he says and does. Context is important. Context is important. Now, it says here that I was planning an event where people could shoot at targets that look like the president. That is absolutely false. I actually went and I found the video. They give the date of the video. Let's see here, June 15th of 2020. So listen, here is what I was talking about, because I watched the whole video. I was like, okay, all right, maybe, maybe I did say something that could be misconstrued. So I went and I watched the whole video, and I'm like, what is this? And the name of the video is like Chaz Chop, because that's what was going on at the time. That's how long ago this was. You remember when Seattle had that autonomous zone where a group of people took over the center of Seattle and declared it autonomous? That's how far back we're talking here. Again, like June of 2020. Okay. So I go through and I watch the whole video, and I'm going to tell you exactly what we were talking about. The thing that they have on here is a picture of the poorly. First of all, my video feed is much better than that. But down at the bottom, as you can see the picture here, down in the bottom left corner, the reason there's a picture there is because that is a viewer that made that comment. I never said anything about it. But what I did say after he said that, what we were talking about is a Trump rally. At the time, we were like, what would be really cool is to have a Trump rally. They had one in Tulsa, and that's what I was talking about. And they had 800,000 ticket requests. Okay. So we were like, it'd be awesome to have a Trump rally. I'll let you go back and watch the video if you so choose, but I'm gonna truncate it really quick. And I said, what would be really awesome is if we had Trump, right? And he was at a shooting range and he could, line him up and knock him down. I think that would be a cool event. I'd go see that. Let's see how good he is on the range. And one of my viewers, who they thankfully at least cut his name out. He doesn't deserve that. It was all joking, all of it. I had a smile on my face the entire time. I think it would be amusing to have a shooting event like that where, Donald Trump could go and be at the range, and I think it would be fun. What I said at the time, and I stand by this, the Secret Service would never allow anyone else to do anything at the range with the president there. And that, that goes for the current president or any other president, understandably so. Anyway, so at this point, I'm talking about having him set up and, do down the range and all of that. And a viewer of mine suggested targets. And I was like, yeah, can you imagine the heads exploding if he had something like that and he was doing that? And, I proceeded to talk about the various figures on the left that masquerade as news and their reactions. That's it. That was the entirety of it. At no point did I ever advocate for anything like that. It's I'm going to tell you what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is sheer unbridled desperation. We have a situation where the entire uh, platform from the left is the right is banning abortion. Now, as far as I'm concerned, abortion has settled. It's been settled in the state. I was asked at the forum if I, excuse me, if I would have voted for Senate Bill 1 in its current form, and I said no, because I wouldn't. I said on the radio during the Sound Off show that I believe that criminalizing women for having to make a difficult decision is not something we should be doing. Now, again, this is my personal opinion. I would have been and am for a referendum style, or at least something that the will of the voter is able to be expressed. There are a lot of instances where I believe that, we select our representatives, they go, they make decisions for us, things like the budget, stuff like that. But there are some things that require a more personal touch. For example, in Michigan, the cannabis laws, they left them up to the individual communities. Those are things that I support. I support local communities because Michigan City, Chesterton, District 9 is very different than Indianapolis, Evansville, South Bend, Fort Wayne, any other place in Indiana, much less anywhere else outside of Indiana. Another thing, so I want to make sure that, according to this, I'm dangerously out of touch. What's really funny is the last page before you flip it over. It says, Dion Bergeron thinks out of touch politicians like himself should be allowed, blah, 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 blah. So what's really funny to me is am I a politician if I'm just a candidate? But out of touch is exactly what my opponent is. I'm not going to make this a negative, but I am going to show you something because I think it's important. One of the things that I've always prided myself on is being available, accountable, and transparent. And I'm doing so in this case. I want to show you something because I think it's important. I received a message. Now, this is just one of several messages that I've received. I received a message from someone, a voter that here previously I had no idea who they were. Apparently, that's understandable because according to them, they voted for my opponent the last two times they ran. Now, why does that matter? Because they're on my opponent's page and they're asking what I feel are very important questions. And as you can see, it says, Pat is very busy and doesn't answer social media. However, if you send a private message with your questions, your name, and a way for her to contact you, I can pass it on to her. Let's make sure we understand here, ladies and gentlemen, because I do believe this is critically important. I've said this before, and I stand by it. If someone is too busy to speak to you when they're a candidate, they are too busy to speak to you when they're elected. And this is an exact example of said, because at no point has this person ever said, hey, someone else is going to be taking over my social media. If you need to reach me, blah, blah, blah. They are chronically unavailable. I have heard from a number of constituents, dozens, if not more, who have all said every time I have something that I need to ask them, I don't hear from them. I don't get anything back. They don't return my phone calls. They don't return my emails. They don't, correspond with me. This is a problem. In my opinion, that is truly an out of touch politician. But moving on with this, I actually find this pretty amusing. And you know what? If this ends up costing me the election, then so be it. But I want to address some things here. So according to this, I pledged my allegiance to QAnon conspiracy theories. Dion Bergeron makes no secret of his allegiance to QAnon, the group that spreads conspiracy theories and hate-filled misinformation. All right, so let's address that. At no point in time have I prescribed allegiance to anyone or anything other than the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of Indiana. I wholeheartedly will, pledge allegiance to the flag and the Constitution that stands for our rights under such. I just look. First of all, I did receive an endorsement from a group that just happens to be involved in the movement. This was back in 2019, 2020, when I was running for United States Congress. I appreciated that endorsement. I thanked them wholeheartedly. And that was it. That was the entirety of it. I have read the posts that came out by this underground individual, and you know what it did for me? Did it make me think that there were lizards or whatever, any of the stuff that's prescribed to this? No. What it did was make me do my own research. It made me question the narrative from news organizations, from people in power. And look, I don't care if that person is a Republican or a Democrat. If they tell me something, I'm going to verify it. And I think you should do the same. The interesting thing is, and my wife says this, and she's 100% correct. Crime and economy are what people care about. That's the big issues on people's mind. My opponent won't address either of these. They won't say anything. The only thing they say about the economy is economic justice, but won't define what that means, of course. Buzzwords. That's what it's about. I'm going to be on the radio in the morning, which I'm going to reference this video. So if you, ladies and gentlemen, want to make sure your comment gets out there, post it up there. But questioning the narrative, I think, is really important for all of us. And that's really what the entire movement or whatever they're referencing is about for me. At no point do I think any of the more outlandish conspiracy theories that are attributed to this movement, I don't have anything to do with any of that. I've made videos about it. You can go through and look. And I'm going to say this, and I think this really says it all. I was interviewed by Vice News. Now, you guys are, I'm sure, very well aware of Vice and their lefty slant and all of that. I did a full-on hour interview with Vice News. Vice made a documentary about Q and the QAnon community and all of that, right? I watched it. They did not use a single clip of me, not one. Why? Because I'm not unhinged. Because I did not, jump into this with both feet and say, yes, anything anybody says that is, completely possible is reality. What I did was I said, I read this and I read this. And when I read this, I went, that's interesting, because there are some interesting pieces of information there. At that point, I did a little bit of research into who the people referenced were. And I've talked about this. Again, I've talked about this. I think the most critical thing, the most critical takeaway from this mailer is, remember, ladies and gentlemen, I've been doing this for years now, 3 years. 2019 is when they actually go back to in this, maybe 2020. I've been doing this since 2019. So years, right? Years I've been doing this. And this was it. The things contained in this mailer were the most extreme, the most dangerous things that they could find in 3 years. Now, 2 years of which were almost every single day I would make a video. Overwhelmingly, right? So, 700 or so minimum videos. I'm not worried. Someone who doesn't even want to use their name says you sound pretty worried for it to be a baseless claim. I'm not worried at all. By all means, go look up the video and watch it. So anyway, you guys make your own decision. Like I said, if that's the best that they got, then fair enough. It is what it is. I am far more concerned about what people are worried about today, which is the economy, which is crime, which is up, and the left refuses to condemn it. They're more worried about putting out hit pieces and things like that. And my wife says that my opponent blames the Republicans about why she can't get anything done in 4 years of state rep, but the rep from D12 got 17 articles. Oh, I think she's talking about Andretti, Michael Andretti. Yeah, so he's a Democrat, and he was able to get quite a bit of things done in his first term. So I don't know. That's kind of what we have to deal with. Nothing's going to change if we keep voting the same way up and down the ticket. I hope that you guys see this for what it is, which is, an act of sheer desperation. And, go watch the video if you don't believe me. I did. And you know what? It made me sad, though. One part of it did make me sad because my cat that passed away, you can kind of see him on the edge of the chair there. PBK, you guys may have, if you've been watching me for back in the early days. He used to lay behind me up here, and he passed away. I don't know how long now. 6 months, 8 months, a little longer. I don't know. So it did make me sad. And my son was kind of off on the side, and when we got this, he's reading it and he's like, that didn't happen because I know for sure that I would have been, involved. He's like, as your son, I can guarantee that never happened. And he used to be involved in most of my videos. So I had the article come out in the News Dispatch, News Disgrace, whatever you want to call it. And you know what? To be fair to them, I don't think it was too heavily biased, unlike usual. It did a fairly good job of listing the various things that were sent to him. So. Ranting again, huh? Yeah, we got a ranter, troll, whatever you want to call it. By all means, chat it up. And it's unfortunate. This person believes that every single person running for office is a puppet, and I have to say that's probably true in the vast majority of cases, but not all of us are that way. I personally would like to see something different. I'd like to see some transparency. Like to see someone who actually addresses their constituents, who can, talk and be there. I've tried to be as blatantly transparent as I possibly can. I've talked about things that most individuals running for office would certainly shy away from, but I'm more than happy to discuss it. You're not going to please everybody. There's always going to be those people in those situations where no matter what you say and no matter what you do, people are going to find fault with that, and so be it. And I'm glad you brought this up, Liz. So we are going to be walking in the Veterans Day Parade. You guys should all, come out, be there, support them. It's going to be a fun event. Whether you want to walk with us or walk with another candidate or just attend, I think it'll be a really good time. So I appreciate it. Thanks for reminding me that. And she mentioned we have PBK 2.0. Again, PBK was my black cat, and after he passed a period of time, my oldest son Orion brought in this bundle of black fur stray that he had found and that followed him, and it was meant to be, because he is truly unique. Every once in a while, I had to kick him out of here, unfortunately, because he is far too interested in the wires for my computer. He gets down there and he starts messing with them, and unfortunately, he won't sit up here quietly like some of the other cats, especially not like his predecessor. So unfortunately, I can't have him on the videos with me, because again, he's far too concerned with violating the sanctity of the computer space. Ladies and gentlemen, it's unfortunate that that's what things have come down to in the political world, but it's no big surprise. I would say that based on polling, which we've done, National has done, lots of organizations, it does not look good for the left. It doesn't look good for Democrats on any level this year, and that's regardless of how you identify on the political spectrum, whether it's libertarian, independent, Democrat or Republican, or some other party entirely. There are a few other alternate parties out there. The big issue at this time seems to be the economy and crime, and the economy has not been addressed by any of the candidates, especially locally. On the left at all. They haven't talked about it. They avoid it like the plague. And, I understand why, because they won't go against the White House. They won't stand up to they can't. They can't come out and say, look, this is wrong, or the economy sucks and we're going to help you. They won't do that, because that would show disloyalty to the great leader. I get it, but unfortunately they and it's absolutely right. The two issues are linked. If the economy goes down, or is down, crime goes up, and as crime goes up, the economy goes down. It's been shown in multiple things across across party lines that economy and crime are linked. In general, it's an individual. There are those people who are just out to commit crimes, but in general, petty crime especially is generally linked to poverty. The people that don't have any other options, or believe they don't have any other options. That's what they do. So unfortunately, that's what they have to run on. Abortion. Speaking of crime, and the economy in general, we've seen so many potential things come here, right? We've seen so many rumors of this or that. It's heartbreaking, right? We continually hear about these little potential things that are going to happen, these potential groundbreaking changes, and it never quite comes to fruition. And I'm not blaming any individuals for that. That's, unfortunately, much like the way that things are nationally. It's a ripple effect, right? A little thing here creates a little thing there and there and there. So unfortunately, that's the reality of the situation. There is so much more that we can do, so much more that all of us can do, but especially the people that we've elected to represent us, they can do more. And that's the entire purpose of my campaign, is to show that there is more that can be done. We have a sitting rep who I believe has not done their job. They have advocated and voted for things that help other areas. They have assisted with, party plans, but not community, right? They're not doing what we elected them to do. One of those examples, and I've used this before, but it's because I believe it's very, very pertinent, and that is voting for Hard Rock Casino to become land-based in Gary, thereby increasing Gary's economy. Unfortunately, this negatively affects Blue Chip. The job is not to vote for Gary. The job is to vote for your district, vote for what's best for District 9. And unfortunately, they failed at that. So, look, ladies and gentlemen, this is what they got. Again, 3 years of videos of posting almost every day, 2 years for sure of almost every day. And that's it. It's the best they got. So I'm happy to answer any questions. If you guys have something you'd like to ask that hasn't been already answered ad nauseum, feel free to reach out. Ultimately, I want to be here to represent you. I have some ideas going in. Again, I'm going to be on the radio tomorrow morning. And I want to tell you one of the first things that I plan on doing once elected. I think the radio time, I'll have to look it up for sure, but I want to say about 9:30 or so. AM, I'll be on I'll have to look at WIMS. Yeah. About 9:30 in the morning, tune in. It's not me that's paying for it, but I was asked to come on, so I will definitely be there. I will take the time for sure. That's about it. Moving on from that, excuse me. So I think one of the things that I've found when going out, and I've talked about the way people are messing with signs and all of that. And I'm gonna say for the record, do I think that my opponent is going out there messing with my signs? No, of course not. Just like I'm not going out there. But I think there are people who are either so win at all costs or just angry that they don't care. I've had several of my supporters have their signs damaged, removed. My sign from their yard. These people, gave me permission to put my sign in their yard, and their property is being violated. Trespassing, theft, vandalism. These are all things that are being done. I think it's unfortunate. It's not that serious. They're signs. Signs don't vote. All I can say is that people must be very, very worried because they are pulling out all the stops. We've seen, I don't know if you guys saw, but during the commissioner meeting, which I really wanted to go to, this most recent commissioner meeting, I really wanted to go to it, but unfortunately I had something that I just couldn't get out of. And there was apparently these flyers, right, that were put up or I don't know if it was a letter or flyers or just a sign or what, but they were put up and they were very derogatory towards a candidate, Connie Grammarosa. And they definitely had an aura of meanness. I'm not going to repeat them because it's not necessary, but they were very, very negative. Now, allegedly, because I have not seen the video, but allegedly, a sitting commissioner is caught on camera putting these up in a county-owned building. If that's the case, then completely unacceptable. But one thing I will say is the individual that allegedly put these up has been known to sing the praises of Sheila Matias. One thing that I noticed was absent was Sheila's disavowal of this type of behavior. At no point did she say, this is unacceptable, this shouldn't happen, none of that. Now, if she posted it somewhere, I watched the meeting, she didn't say it, but if she posted it somewhere, by all means, let me know because I'd like to see it. But there was none of that. There was simply okay. Obviously, she's willing to accept the positives while being insulated from the negatives of this. It's despicable, and it's something that we should definitely demand more from our elected officials. There's not a lot of people out there, unfortunately, that attend the meetings, whether via Zoom or in person. And I'd like to see that change. I'd like to see more people. I'd like to see more people get involved. I'd also like to see more voters get educated. I'd like to see everyone spend some more time learning about the candidates, about who they are, about what they're about. I appreciate everyone that spends the time to listen to me and to talk to me and to learn about where I stand on these issues. I think it's very unfortunate when candidates don't make time for their social media or answering phone calls or anything like that. So I think that's sad. So I think it's important that everyone get out there, vote for who you believe in. Don't just vote against someone. And especially like the more local races, it's hard to learn about candidates, especially those candidates like running for school board. This is something that I was talking to someone about the other day. School board candidates are notoriously hard to gather information on. A lot of times, at least the smart ones, their social media is very sanitized, right? Or at least not public, right? So it's hard to see where these people stand on various issues. If they don't fill out like Vote 411 or Ballotpedia or something like that, then it's really hard to learn about what they truly believe in, what they would vote for. There are a lot of things that are going on with our schools and a lot of things that, unfortunately, it's important to know where they stand. I've sent offers for the school board candidates to come on the show. I have not heard back from anyone, unfortunately. I was hoping to get that done so that they could have an opportunity to tell people, what they really stand on and give you, the viewer, an opportunity to ask them about the things that matters to you for your school board candidates. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Sunday night, I'm going to have a couple of special guests on. Sean Holmgren, he's been on the show before. He helps to develop content for the show, does some more stuff for me. He's really a man of many talents, and he'll be on the show because we're going to talk about, he and his brother Ben will be on the show actually, and we're going to be talking about candidates, what we've been able to learn. We're going to put together some information for you, give you the opportunity to review it, and hopefully make an informed choice when you go into the voting booth. Sunday, 7 p.m. I hope you'll get the opportunity to join us. That's really about it. Again, I've sent a lot of offers to people to come on the show, and obviously, all of you know, I'm always willing to have people on the show. I value a good discussion, even people on the other side. I had former Mayor Ron Meir on. He's a Democrat. We had a great conversation. I'd like to see more of that. I would actually like to see members of the city council come on. I don't care about your political leanings. I think we agree on far more than we disagree on. There may be minor issues that we can agree to disagree on as such, but the majority of things I think are ignored in favor of the hot button topics, and the things that separate us are highlighted by the media and those people who gain something from it. The vast majority of things, we're on the same page. We all understand that most of us want safe neighborhoods and good paying careers, and we want to be able to afford to put gas in our vehicles and pay our light bill and all of those things. So that's one of my goals once elected, is to get some members of government onto the show and give us an opportunity to converse, to talk about what we can do, how we can do it, regardless of political leanings. How can downstate help, right? How can your state rep, which hopefully will be me, go down to Indianapolis and help, whether it be Michigan City or Chesterton or, the Pines, Rolling Prairie? What can we do downstate to help you here? And I think I don't care, where you sit politically. And, you're absolutely right. Kitchen table issues, they just they don't quite have as much excitement, right? They're not as charged. They don't make you, ooh, the way that the controversial or hot button topics do. But nonetheless, they need to be handled. They need to be resolved. And it's something that I think all of us can agree on. Most of, at least the vast majority of us, know that the economy is jacked. We know that crime is a problem. And these are things that we should be addressing. I don't believe for a moment that the vast majority of people don't recognize what's going on here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to sit and listen to me talk about this, but I wanted to address it. I think it's important. One of the things that happens around election time is committees and candidates are allowed to pretty much say whatever they want, and there's no accountability. There's no truth. They can just toss out things any way that they want. So I think that that's important, that you understand what's going on here. And again, in my opinion, it shows sheer desperation. I hope that you won't take the bait. I hope that you'll stay the course and vote for the person that you believe in. Another 2 years of the incumbent isn't going to change anything. They've been unsuccessful at getting anything passed. That's not going to change. They're unwilling to work with the supermajority. They're not going to get anything passed. So, we have an opportunity to change the course here. We have an opportunity to elect someone who's actually going to work for you, who's going to be available to answer your questions, to help you if you need if you need assistance with navigating federal or state problems, because that's what a state rep's supposed to do. And that's what I'm here for. So thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it. God bless you. God bless Indiana. And God bless the United States.